Welcome back to The Health Hunt, where we talk about health like real people, not a wellness highlight reel. This is part 3 of our conversation with board-certified health and wellness coach, Debbie Roppo. And if you've been following the series, you already know Debbie's story started with a life-changing diagnosis and a moment when doctors tried to rewrite the ending for her. But in this episode, it's about what happens after the shock. Because whether it's an autoimmune diagnosis, chronic pain, anxiety, burnout, or a symptom you just can't explain, there's a point where you're staring at your life thinking, okay, now what? In this conversation, Debbie shares what most people really need. It's not another strict plan, not another impossible checklist, but a way to rebuild trust with your body and make changes that actually stick. We talk about baby steps, identity, self-talk, and why feeling safe and supported might be more healing than the perfect protocol. And yes, we somehow end up talking about meatballs, mocktails, and dessert for dinner. Because obviously we do. Okay, now you know I have to say this. The Health Hunt podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We're not medical professionals, and nothing shared should be considered medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health. Now, before we begin, I just want to share something personal because Dan and I believe that sharing our raw and authentic selves is really one of the backbones of this podcast. And so as I'm recording this, I am moving through the loss of my sweet dog, Kiko, who transitioned yesterday. And right now, I have to tell you, the grief is all-encompassing. Grief has a way of reminding you that even when you're doing all the right things, life still shows up. Your heart still breaks. You still have days where just getting through is enough. So if you're listening to this episode in a season of grief, whether it's the loss of a person, a fur baby, a version of your health, or just the life you thought you'd have, I really want you to know you are not alone. And you don't have to be perfect to keep going. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is take the next small step and give yourself grace. Okay, let's get into part 3 with Debbie Roppo. I want to hear more about how you work with your clients to get them in a mindset of being informational about, let's say again, mold, toxic product, all like to be able to address these things with them and teach them knowledge, but also at the same time, making sure that they understand they could maybe just do one thing at a time. I actually saw something on Instagram yesterday that was like this about small habits or small wins. And I think it would be valuable for you to share how you bring that into your practice.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is really important is that when I first work with a client, I have a wheel that I created and there's 12, pillars that I look at and I interview them deeply. I want to know if you were a C-section baby. I want to know it all, right? I get all this data and all this information from you. And then I don't choose what you should do. And this is something I think that's different from most health coaches. A lot of coaches have a program. Okay, this is what we're going to go through. I don't find that to be realistic because every client, again, is bio-individual. So it depends on which client it is. And we go with baby steps. I'll give them 3 or 4 ideas. What's the lowest hanging fruit? What do you feel is the easiest? Oh, I could do that. No problem. I could adjust that. And it's interesting. And I'm going to share one story with you if it's okay. Please. About a specific client. So I had a client who came in and she was eating a dozen donuts a day. She would eat, a box of donuts a day. And, we had some things we talked, we did all these different things. What are we going to do? We just had this beautiful conversation. What we got to was we were going to switch out one donut for a piece of fruit. That was our starting point. She starts doing that whole week, all week long. She switched out one donut one piece of fruit for one of the donuts. She did it for the whole week and she starts to the second week. Are you ready to do that? Nope, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to go with 2. Okay. All right. Stick with your 1. Great. Good. Let's do it. She goes to a church outing and there's someone in the medical field and they tell her how terrible it is that she's eating all these donuts. And she starts to eat the 12 donuts again. And the point of this story is that baby step of changing out that one donut for that piece of fruit was huge, even though it maybe physically wasn't that big of a deal, because mentally she was successful. I could do that. I could do that. This woman reversed it from one piece of fruit. Now she's doing 2 pieces of fruit. And should she be eating 12 pieces of fruit a day? Of course not. But is it better than 12 donuts? Hell yes. And I think that this is a powerful part of this. Baby steps. Choose one little thing. It's kind of like a snowball. You just choose this one little thing that's very doable. I've had clients who no movement. They literally don't move at all. They're using scooters, right? And we started with putting your shoes on, your sneakers on. And that's all she did. For the first week, she put her sneakers on and then took her sneakers off.
Wow.
That was it. The next one, she put her sneakers on and she put a timer on for 5 minutes. She walked out for 5 minutes. The timer went off. She walked back in. Right? Then she started walking. After a while, then she's walking 7 minutes out and 7 minutes in. And now she's walking 13 and then she's walking 20. It's better to do it in baby steps than to try to overhaul everything. You can white knuckle it for about 3 days and then you quit and you're off the program. That's why I don't do a program, because you're either on the program or you're off the program.
Debbie,
we're never on a program. We're just making different lifestyle changes that work.
Yeah.
One baby step at a time. And everyone's different. Some women come in and they're like, give me 5 things. I'm ready. Let's go. And we can move much faster, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Just really quickly, which part of or how much of your practice for coaching is on the extremes? 12 donuts a day, something akin to that. Is there a lot of the extremes that come in, or is it people that come in that want to optimize and are less of that?
Yeah, it's not. When I first started, it was because when I first started practicing, I was looking, my kind of target woman was women with diagnoses, someone that's been diagnosed. And I've morphed throughout my 10-year career. I now really work with women that are leaders, that are business women, and I work as as health as part of your business strategy. It's not something we put on the back burner. Someday I'll get healthy, but actually part of your business strategy. So I don't get as much of that now. But when I first started, I got a lot of very, very extreme cases of people coming in. And that's just one of, part of the coaching that is most powerful is you get people come in and they're really have no hope. They're hopeless. And you're able to help them move forward. But most of the time now, the women, it's not so much a diagnosis. It's a lot of symptoms, a lot of lack of energy. I know that I know that I need to start taking care of myself, but I just keep putting it on the back burner. Yeah.
So I love this conversation about little habits. And you mentioned Atomic Habits. That's a great book for anybody that's interested in that, because it's incremental changes and also celebrating wins, because it's really easy to say, I failed at doing this thing this week and miss sight of the things that you did well. And I think as a good health coach or a coach of any kind knows how to focus on that. And it probably depends on the people, but I'm someone, I talked about my childhood. I don't do well with anything that has a potential point of failure. I just know this about myself. And so I don't like rigid programs. I don't like anything where I could potentially have to deal with. I have enough self-criticism and shame internally. I'm working on these things, but that's there enough that I can't put myself in a place where there's a potential benchmark of a failure. And so, you and I have talked about this. One of the things that I enjoyed about working with you is that every week I would show up and we would just deal with whatever I felt like dealing with that week. It wasn't like, now we're on week 3 and here's the things. And I also didn't have to feel like shit, I didn't eat anything red today. Because I think that's what makes people stop. And especially even working with a coach, if you feel like you're going to be judged or you have to feel shame about something you didn't do or did do, you ate the 12th donut, you're more likely to quit because you don't want to have to face that person. So some people do well and they need accountability. But I think a lot of other people, there's a happy combination of that where you feel like someone's listening to you and, you were really great at shifting on the fly and just kind of dealing with whatever. Sometimes I just need to talk. And that's important. So anyone who's looking for a coach, obviously go to Debbie, that would be my recommendation. But just in general, you have to find someone that makes you feel good and that you leave your sessions feeling uplifted and not bad about yourself because they know how to, your superpower is listening and listening to the words and understanding what somebody's mindset is and helping them reframe that. But if someone isn't good at that, the chances of success are very low and you're going to leave those encounters feeling worse than you did going in.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I truly, when I first started working, I was going to fix people. That's what I was going to do. I'm going to work with them. I'm going to tell them what to do. I'm going to fix them. And then they're going to be so happy and healthy and it's going to be rainbows and sunshine. That's what I planned on. That's what I was hoping for. After working for this many years, what I now know is every person knows themselves best. They know what's best. And I know that some people are like, oh my God, no, I don't. I really don't know what's best for me, right? I know you might feel that way, but that's my job is I help bring that out. So when a client comes in, I say this, and as Sandy knows, one of the first things I say each week is, I've got some ideas of what we could talk about, but I'm really curious, what's up for you right now? Because they know. So let's say, just like you said, a client sits down, and I want to talk about rainbow eating today. And they just had a death in their family. I could talk about rainbow eating all day long, and that week they're never going to even think about rainbow eating. They've got to deal with, okay, all right, so I've started this process. I started doing these few things, and then this tragic thing happened. How do I still function with this tragic thing? Okay, good. Let's walk through that piece, right? So that's why it has to be fluid. If it's this set, regimented, this is what we're doing today. Oh gosh, something came up. Oh, too bad. We're going to pretend like that didn't happen. We're just going to go with our program. It makes no sense to me. Do I have an idea? Of course, I always have ideas of what I want to talk about or what I want to bring up. But what is the client? The client is absolutely the wisest. And I think this is important to know to really, and I think that you guys do this really well here. You are your best doctor. You know best. You know better than the doctor. You know better than I do. You know. Now, sometimes you might not trust yourself, and that's what a great coach really does, is brings out, that empowers you. You feel like, shit, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I actually do know. And I'll ask questions after questions after questions. I'd rather ask you 5 questions and make you pull out what it is the answer than to tell you. Because if I tell you, okay, but if I get you to tell yourself, whole different ballgame.
Well, and I think that's the mark of a great coach as well, as because people will say something and, there's an exercise of why. So you say something and you're like, well, but why? And then you take it and, you sort of take it like 5 steps deeper. That's really important because sometimes you see things on the surface and it's not really at the core of the issue. And so you need to be able to extract that. And I think, again, that's sort of the mark of a good coach. And if someone had a death in their family, telling them to eat a carrot to make sure they got their orange food in, that's not going to help. A good coach is somebody who helps somebody receive the information. So the timing has to be right and the information has to be right. It has to be addressing what they're dealing in the moment. So it's like what you said is very spot on, and it's very important. And I think that's another reason why people fail in what they're doing, because there's just a disconnect between what's happening in their life and the information they're getting. And you can speak as eloquently and as brilliantly as you possibly ever could. But if somebody's not in the space to receive it, you may as well be speaking Chinese to someone who doesn't speak Chinese.
So, Sandy, you said something about being a good listener. So powerful. I would tell you from a business capacity, just because it made me think of a story, a little thought bubble I had, is I used to give presentations in my business capacity. And after my presentations, I used to ask everyone, does anyone have any questions? And there were probably 6 people in the room. 5 people would ask questions and they challenged me. And there was always one person that was quiet. And I'd be like, he didn't ask any questions. So after the meeting, I'd walk up to him and be like, you didn't say anything. I mean, do you have any questions for me? And he was listening. And he asked the best questions and told me and gave me the best advice about how to proceed forward. And it's always the person that's the most quiet in the room that's the good listener. And so I just wanted to share that listening is the superpower.
Yeah. To be quite, I'll tell you my favorite part about my job is listening. To listen to a woman's story about where she's at and what she's experiencing and how it's showing up for her. I feel like the luckiest human in the world that I get to do that. It's such an honor. And I think that as a coach, if we can feel that way, that we are in a position of we're hearing someone's story about where they're at and where they are physically, mentally, emotionally, all of these things. It's such it's like a gem. It's this place that you really, really want to hold it with great respect and honor. And I think if you can feel that way and you truly in your heart, I think that will help a client more than all the freaking advice you can give them.
Well, that's another weight, because I think especially as women who were taught to just put up and shut up and do and do all the things and care. And, it doesn't matter if you're not feeling well, there's something about being heard. And probably women that have opened up to you, maybe the first time they've ever felt safe to do so. And then to have it validated, that is profound on a level that people, unless you really deeply think about it, might not even understand. But the power of that, just being heard and understood. And again, the validation is that's key.
And not judged.
Not judged.
I can't tell you how many clients have told me things that would rock your world, shock you, right? Just shock you. And I remember one client, she told me something that a lot of people would have just judged insanely. And I've been through so much and I've seen so much that a lot of things don't shock me. So, but when I heard her, I don't have any judgment towards her, none whatsoever, 0. And the next week, she said, Debbie, the fact that you heard me and didn't judge me allowed me to forgive myself. Right? And that's huge.
Huge. That's game changing in your mind. I mean,
yeah, I have no judgment. Holy smokes. The path I've taken. Are you kidding me? I have no room for judgment. And I think that that's an important piece to find somebody where you can be really vulnerable and open and feel like I can just spill this out and there's no judgment there.
Yeah, because I think if anyone's even a little bit like me, you're carrying around enough self-judgment that this is always like criticism has been hard for me because I already know all the things in the places where I'm terrible. So I don't need you to tell me that, right? So I'm operating at 100% with the criticism bucket is full. There's no, I know that about myself. Please don't. And so that's, I think, when someone shows up and doesn't judge you and add to that bucket that's already full and helps you start to siphon it out, that's the mark of a good coach. And that's the kind of partner that you want on any health journey. Again, whether it's just that you want to feel better, sleep better, or whether you have an actual diagnosis. So I appreciate that.
And you can put that wall down then. Yeah. You can put the wall down and you can say, okay, maybe I can explore this really honest, right? I can do this because I'm safe here. And I think that's an important piece for health. Again, it's not just about the physical stuff. It's about the safety. How do you feel? Do you feel safe? Can you speak to, and we were talking about finding a doctor. Can you really talk to your doctor? Can you tell them what you're thinking? Or is it okay for you to ask questions? Do you feel judged if you're asking questions? You need to be able to do that. And I think that's a part of your health plan.
Yeah. And I think that's why you're good at really getting down to the nitty gritty of it, because when you create a safe space, people are going to talk about things that they wouldn't have talked about. Right. And so they might just come in and say, I want to lose weight. But, there's a million reasons why that's even a problem and why they want to do that. And so if you can't get them past the surface level of that discussion, it's really hard to get to the root of the problem. And we talk, we love functional medicine. So we love root causes and digging in. And that's very important. Yeah. So I wanted to circle back to something we kind of talked about. And it's about what does success look like? Because we talked about how it's important to reframe health as a moving target and not a hard and firm goal, because then you're setting yourself up for failure. So I'm curious to know sort of your position on how do you get people to be okay with wherever they are at a given time?
Yeah. Boy, that's so powerful. I think that it's, another golden ticket moment.
Oh my God, I'll give this one to Dan. Now we both have one. Yay.
Right? Because it's for me, success is allowing yourself to be where you are. It's not, you're at this level, you're here, you're eating this well, you're doing this. Okay, once you get to this, then you're successful. To be where you are and be okay with, okay, this is my starting point. This is where I'm at. This is the step I'm on. I'm good. Let me just look at this step. This is what, just like, when you're looking at a mountaintop, right? If you look at how far you got to go, yay, holy smokes, it's huge. It's ridiculous. But if you're just looking at, all right, I just got to get right there, just that one little spot. To me, that's what success is, when it comes to health, if you can just be okay, no matter where you're at, and say, this is where I'm at. It's okay. This is my starting point. Let's go. That's it. That to me is success. That's what health success is. Where I'm at right now, do I have further to go? Hell yes. But I don't worry about that. I'm just, how am I doing today? How's today?
Yeah.
How am I doing right now? That's enough.
That makes it easier. And I think, so you had mentioned the wheel that you show people when they first start. And I think you have, it's like different areas of your life and you rate them.
At different, 12 pillars. Yeah.
So that I think is important, because if you're implementing the approach that you talk about with very small incremental steps, it's kind of like where you can't see yourself aging, right? You're looking at yourself day by day. And so if you look at a picture from 30 years ago versus now, then you can see the difference. But on day-by-day basis, you can't. And so that wheel and that as a tool, or any way you would do it, even if you write down where you are on day one, I think that actually helps you look back and reflect on the change that you may not have otherwise seen, and be able to then celebrate those wins.
Yes. I love the wheel, because when I have a client do it at the very first, and then we do it again at the end. And it's incredible to watch. I just had a woman do it not that long ago. And, she moved from a 3 in one area to a 9, and right, to see the progress and to see you're changing. And I think it's another point. What I love about the wheel and the different 12 pillars is, one of them is relationships. Maybe that's the area that you're ready to look at, because you're not ready to look at nutrition and movement and this area, right? You just kind of choose which area is best for you, what's going to work for you. And then because then you can say, maybe you're starting out with this and you know what? I'm really good at this. You do that wheel and you're like, okay, maybe I'm stuck here. But you know what? I'm really good here. I do this well. And we celebrate that. We don't just focus, okay, what you need to fix. I just don't like to fix it. That's not the way I think. I just don't. I really think about, we celebrate where you're at. I don't care if you're at a freaking 1 in that area. We're at a 1. And I'll ask clients, they'll say, oh, I'm at a 3 in this area. I'll ask them, well, why aren't you a 1? Why didn't you choose 1? And they always expect me. They always stumble, because they always expect me to say, well, why aren't you a 7? Well, then you have to talk about all the reasons negative. But if I say, oh, if I say for zest for life, I'm a 5 at a zest for life. Well, why aren't you a 3? Well, because I have. And you start talking about well, gosh, I'm not going to say 3 because this, and this. and that elevates them.
I love this.
Right?
I'm sorry, I just got really excited to yell into the microphone. I no, because as you're saying it, I'm imagining it. Like, I love that. And even just picking something that, like, because we always think about all of the deficiencies in our lives. We don't necessarily think that there's actually one area that's positive. And so when you put it in that perspective, then you get to have a win out of the gate. Again, even if you're only a 5 and everything else is a 1, well, you're still a 5 somewhere. So yay, you're actually doing great somewhere. And that's such I love that as a perspective. I think that's mind-shifting.
Because we can, especially, we're strong, we want to be successful. We want all these great things in our lives, and we have, our bodies don't feel that way. And you can say, oh, I'm failing. But wait, you're not really. There's actually some beautiful things in your life. There's incredible, gross and wonderful things happening in your life. And that's part of your health journey. Your health journey is not just your physical body. It's so much more than that. We know this now.
God, I love this so much. Okay. So something that Dan and Dan gets credit for this, but something we decided we want to do with our guests, it's kind of like a get to know you. So we're going to do a bit of a lightning round of just some questions so we can hear about things about you. So, okay, your favorite food or go-to restaurant?
My favorite food by far is my husband's meatballs.
Oh, okay.
And he made about 160 of them today.
Okay.
So I was walking around eating meatballs.
Okay, we know what you'll be doing later. Good.
Nice.
Okay, she's going to get off this call and she's going to go eat meatballs. I love it. Okay, a TV show that you swear everybody should watch.
Okay. I don't watch television.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't watch television, but I recently did watch a movie that most people many people might, it's sad, but was powerful. It's called You're Not You, and Hilary Swank. And she's diagnosed with ALS. So I don't watch television, but I do watch movies. And that was a movie that really moved me and was a beautiful, powerful movie that I recently watched. So I throw that in.
I mean, that literally sounds on topic because you're dealing with someone who got a horrible diagnosis and then had to, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm imagining that there's some sort of, so I'm going to go watch that because there's probably,
it's sad as
some
hell.
sort of journey.
Trust me. I mean, if you don't like sad movies, but it's powerful. It's so powerful.
Okay. Well, that's a good one. So favorite musician or song that like always hits, because I can see you as someone who puts on a favorite song to rev yourself up. So what might that be?
Yeah, that's interesting because I never need to.
I know. Okay, well there's that. Nice. Okay, so never mind that.
Actually, it's just the opposite.
Okay.
I'll put Zen music on to help me slow to lower myself because I love what I do. I live and breathe it. I literally have to like shut the laptop lid and walk away from my job because I know the changes. I see the changes in women. I get so excited. So for me, it really is, I put Zen music on to slow it down because my rev is not a problem.
I actually really love that. That's such a like out of the box answer, but it's very fitting. And I just want to say, I mean, I know your work and I know how much you love it. And it's like the world's got to be grateful for all of the people that you're helping because it's important work that you're doing, so that's like, we appreciate that because we're here to help people in whatever way we can. And that's, you've made that your life's work and you've out of your own health crisis, which is, it's very special. So moving on to another question, a wellness habit that you genuinely love. What's your, you got something you got to do for you?
I'm super nice to me.
Oh, good one.
I out loud say things like, if I do something like this, I'll be like, you are incredible. Or if I walk past the mirror, I'll be like, I adore you out loud. And I know that might scare people and I'm maybe a little embarrassed even to admit it, but that's what I do. That's my favorite. I stroke my ego. And this was something I did not used to do, but I do now. I adore me. And I think that's my favorite health hack is, I really, really am nice to me. I am super nice to me. And if I fall and make a mistake, I used to say, oh, you're a stupid shit. You stupid shit. Right. And now I fall and make a mistake and I'm like, you're such a good trier.
You get the participation award. Yay, you.
Yay! Good, go get a blue ribbon. You tried. Good job. So I think that's my favorite.
But that just in the work that I do, I understand how powerful that is. So again, I really want to be you when I grow up, because that's to get to that shift. And I'm the same thing. I realize the things that I say to myself, I would never say to anybody else. I just like never, even someone I don't like, I probably wouldn't say it. Like, but I find saying it to myself and believing it. So I appreciate you sharing that, because that's important. Okay.
I think we're the Health Hunt might buy Debbie a parrot to put in her her office, wherever she is currently, and then we'll take it back from you in 6 months, and we'll know everything you're saying, because I'm just thinking about parrot, just blurting out whatever Debbie says. All the affirmations are nice.
Go for it! Yeah,
I love it.
It's so funny.
You're
Sorry,
amazing. I love it. Let's get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm afraid of parrots, but never mind that. It can live at your house, Dan, because I don't want they scare me. Okay. Okay. So something that you're currently working on in your own health journey.
It's a powerful one. For me right now, it's stopping.
Oh, good.
Slowing down, unplugging. Again, when you love what you do, it can get, just this last week, I'm on 2 podcasts, and I've had multiple networking events, and I've had brunches, and I'm, collaborating and working with clients, and we are human, and all of it is data. And so to unplug, that's a piece that I'm really, really, really focused on. It's something that I have to consciously pay attention to. I'll get up in the morning and I jump into my office and I'm doing my, my rituals that I do in the morning, because I have that. And then I'm supposed to meditate, right? That's what I need to do. And I know I need to do it. And I have to fight sometimes, because I just want to get into work. I'm so excited about what I'm doing. And I have to stop, let your cells relax, get yourself slowed down, girl, and then go. So that's stopping.
That's important. So that's a lesson to everybody. Even the Energizer bunny that is Debbie Roppo needs to stop and recharge.
Yes.
Because that's important. And so you just mentioned ritual, because that's kind of my next question. Like, what's a simple ritual that grounds you? Is that the meditation? Is it the music?
Yeah, it's meditation with humming. So I breathe in. When I breathe out, I do a little hum noise. That vibration,
vagus nerve.
Vagus nerve.
Yeah, I just missed talking about
that vagus nerves run through there.
Yeah.
So I really, right. So I just breathe in and I, and I just very quietly just do that meditation, and it is just the most incredible reset. And I can do it in moments too, right? If I'm blessed. I don't get doing things live or I just don't get nervous. I just don't. It's just not I don't know. It's just not my way. I don't know. I guess because I like myself so much. That sounds so prideful. People are like, oh my God, how rude. But I just, I'm okay with me and eat my flaws. I'm good with them. It's all right. But when there's a lot, or if I get really stressed or something happens, I'll just a little hum.
I like that.
And it just, it's incredible how calming it is for me.
Yeah. And you just said something too about how I think we're taught to not think too highly of ourselves. Somebody at some point decided that is boastful and bragging, and that you have to be humble. And like, I find myself apologizing. I'm working on taking compliments, because right now I want to deflect and hide and run away, and I don't think they're authentic, and it's difficult. And so, again, we were taught that somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day I was talking to a woman and we were discussing some things, and I said something, and we were talking about business, and I was there's 2 parts to my business, right? So I've got health coaching, and then there's the business side, like, making sure you're doing good job, creating courses and that challenging side of it. And I said, I'm an incredible coach. But the business side, that part it's challenging and really hard. And the look on her face when I said, I'm an incredible coach, she was almost like, you could see, she was like, oh, goodness, right? Yeah. Had this sense of, boy, she's quite prideful over there. And I thought to myself, and I thought of, even later about it, just what you said, isn't it sad that we're in a society that we can't be proud of what we've accomplished and what we do? Not prideful. that's a whole different ballgame. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I sure am proud of how far I've come. I'm extremely proud of how far I've come. I'm a different human being. That took an enormous amount of work to get this far. So hell yes, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, it should be celebrated. And that's like, let's change that, because that's whoever decided that's an asshole.
Yeah, for real.
Move on.
Boring.
Okay, last question. It's kind of a fun one. A guilty pleasure treat that makes you happy. So you could circle, if it's the meatballs, you can have that for all things, but is there anything?
Mocktails.
Oh.
I love mocktails. I'm so into them now. My ice cubes, I've got cranberries with rosemary in them. So when I put them in a glass and when I go out, I don't drink alcohol, but I ask for a mocktail and I absolutely love them. To me, it's the special treat.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, it's super fun. They've got so many different kinds too.
Okay, that's a fun one. Okay, so I know you talked about it a little bit, but I really want the audience to understand your work. And I know that you've shifted and you've talked about sort of you're working with women in business and not so much necessarily focused on chronic conditions. But I would just love you to, in general, kind of talk about your work, who it's geared towards, what the programs are around.
Yeah. My concept basically is the outer empire that you build. Whatever that is for you, I don't care what it is only sustained by the inner empire that you create. That inner empire to me is the health of your cells, what your mind work is, how you speak to yourself, right? All that part of it. And so that's really what I'm trying to help women see is that outer empire that you want to build, whether it's a business, whether it's, being, living on a farm. I don't care what it is. I don't know what your outer empire looks like. We often try to build what we want and we put our health on the back burner. Mm-hmm. Like someday, as soon as I'm not busy, when I'm not busy, then I'll take care of myself. And what I really want to try to teach and what I work with women is that part of your business strategy is taking care of yourself. How much energy do you have? Can you show up all day long with a bunch of energy and clarity and that brain fog that women have and the fatigue and the little symptoms, like little whispers of aches and pains and the blood pressure is going up a little bit and this is going up a little bit. And, I got diagnosed with osteoporosis, all these little things, right? How do we look at those and explore those so that your body is real? It's the foundation. And to me, it's incredible how we really do it's kind of like going down the road and your gas, again, I'm in the car again with analogy. We're going down the road and the gas tank's on empty and it's like, there's a gas tank. Nope, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to get gas.
God,
I'm just going to pass
me.
The gas.
There's
right? And then we're out in the desert and it's like we run out of gas and we're like, oh shit, I'm out in the desert. I have no place to renew here. And I want to help women realize stop at the gas station, get filled up, nourish your cells and your body and your mind and your spirit and get yourself all jazzed up. Your business, that's ROI right there. That's how, by taking care of your body. And that's what I do. That really outer empire is all determined by your inner empire.
I love that because it sounds like it should be obvious, but it's not.
Right.
And I think even I'm guessing some of your conversations sort of revolve around like the productivity culture, this thing that you have to be working 17 hours a day to be successful and the toll that puts on you. And just being able to give yourself some grace that, first of all, you're not productive for all of that time because you're burnt out. Like you said, you have brain fog. If you could find a way to focus on your own health, you could probably cut that in half and be more efficient, more productive.
Yeah. I have one client just to share that and she's given me permission to share, of course, anything I ever share about a client, they've always given me permission. She came to me and she was getting paid $25,000 for her keynote speaking events. And she was traveling the world and she just kept pushing. She a little symptom here, a little symptom here, a little symptom here. And now she crashed. She can't hardly leave her house. She's physically got some very serious things going on because, bless her heart, she just didn't look and again, just kept putting things on the back burner. Oh, well, someday I'll take care of someday. And now she's not out there making that money anymore. She's not. Right. And that's part of what this is all about. Again, it's about being able to, if it's business, if it's being a mom, if it's being a partner, whatever that outer empire looks like, you've got to have this inside you. You've got to have the ability to do it. And we're reversing that now. And now and things are changing for her.
Oh, I love that so much. That's okay. So if you are that woman or really anybody with anything they want to improve, how do they work with Debbie Roppo?
Yeah, you can find me anywhere on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn and my website. Everything's Debbie Roppo Health Coach. If you look at any of those, you'll find me there.
Okay.
And I actually am, I don't know when you guys are, we're actually doing this live. We're recording this, so I don't know when this will go live. But I have the Inner Empire first quarter experience starting in January 6th. And I'm inviting 6 women into a private group, and we will work together weekly for the first quarter to work on the 12 pillars. Each week we have one pillar, and it is all of my work put into this. I am very excited about this.
Okay. Well, as someone who has taken one of your programs, I can tell you they're very well put together. And just also, if you've never done a group program, there's something extremely special about a collaborative environment like that, where you get to see other women on their journey and hear what they have to say and share in like an open forum like that. So like, I'm a hard yes on that is a great thing, and just working with you. So that's a great thing to be doing. And just for everyone, we're going to put all of Debbie's contact information in the show notes, so you don't have to worry about writing it down. Okay.
Is that also the meatball recipe in the show notes? Did we get that? The meatball recipe?
He's got to, we need authorization to get that meatball recipe. It might be a family secret.
I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't hear. I couldn't hear what you said. Yes. Oh man, his meatballs. I'm telling you, impressive.
Arm twist. I mean, we love meatballs in the show notes. So.
Okay. So I just want to get some kind of last minute listener takeaways. And so just think about, like, if someone takes nothing else from this episode, what do you think is maybe the most, and we covered a lot of ground, so this might be a tricky one, but like, what do you think is maybe the most important takeaway that you would like to share?
You're okay to start where you're at. That's good. It doesn't matter where you are, to just start where you are. Just whatever step you're on is okay. And that there is a next step, and that's enough. I know that maybe I could say something grand and exciting and all this bold, but I think that's the most important thing, that just know that it's okay to be where you're at, and just know that there's one more step. We're just looking to take that one more step, and that's enough. And that's good, because that's how we do everything, right? One step at a time. You don't take 100 steps, so you take one step, and that's okay.
That's good. I had some other questions, but that really just covered it. So I'm going to leave it at that. And the last thing we're going to end on, this is something that Dan and I want to start incorporating into our episodes, is a health confession. So he and I will go first. And, because we want you to know, we're advocating for all of these different health things, but we are not perfect. And so mine is that last night I'd ordered some Greek food, and I got a bowl, which was a bunch of vegetables and things. So that was healthy. I also got Greek fries because I just really like French fries with feta cheese on them. And the place that I ordered from was next to my house. And I let an Uber Eats driver deliver it instead of walking the 0.5 miles there, or even walking to my car and driving there. So that is my health confession of the week.
I love it.
Nice. As Sandy knows, last night I sent a bunch of text messages out to people, random people, and I declared that I was having dessert for dinner. I oftentimes don't do that, but I had a sweet tooth. I'm like, you know what? Tonight is dessert for dinner. And so I wanted to get some affirmation. I want people to talk me through it. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I did it. And I got Witt's Frozen Custard, which is a local custard shop down here in South Florida. I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm a custard kid. I grew up with it. And it was cookie dough and brownie bites and fudge in a base of the vanilla. And that was dinner. And I loved every second of it.
Love
I
it.
support that. Like I said to you in my text message when you texted me, I support that. And also that is the benefit of being an adult. You get to do that.
Yes.
When you're 7 and you tell your parents that's what you want to do, you usually get shut down. But good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my guilt, I don't feel guilty about it at all because I do 20%. So 20% of my diet, I don't care what it is. Yesterday, I had some incredible Swiss cake. I was at a brunch and it was sweet and delicious and icing and everything. And I enjoyed it and I had zero guilt about it. Yeah, I'll eat a Reese cup. Whatever. Who cares?
Yay.
And I think that's the important part about this, right? Perfection is 80-20. 80-20 is perfection.
Okay, well, as everything else you said today, I love that as well. So thank you for sharing. And now I might have dessert for dinner tonight too after those 2 items.
Do it.
So thank you so much for being here and for being our first guest and for supporting the podcast and me and just being an awesome person, an awesome friend. And I'm grateful for you. And this was just like a delight. And so I hope all of our guests are this lovely.
Really, really appreciate it.
I do want to thank the 2 of you for what you're bringing in to the world, right? We, as people that have journeyed through a diagnosis, and that you're sharing yourself so honestly and vulnerable and without this prideful, like I know it all kind of way, just this really authentic. I think you're truly going to help a lot of people. And I'm so honored. Makes me want to cry. I'm so honored that I got to be the very first guest on your podcast.
Thank you. And I'm happy that that's what you're receiving out of it because that's what we want. But when you put something out in the world, you never know if that's how it's going to come across. So we appreciate it. And by the way, just so you know, put it on your calendar because we're going to have a lot of these discussions. You're going to be a regular guest. You might even be a co-host at some point. So
I'm
ready.
ready.
Not the last of Debbie Roppo. We're very excited about this. And so thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, we just want to zoom out for a second. Because this conversation wasn't really about donuts or sneakers. It was about this. You're allowed to start where you are. You don't have to overhaul your life to be doing it right. And you're not failing. You're learning. If you've been overwhelmed by wellness advice, scared to try again, or stuck in that loop of, I know what to do, but I can't do it, we hope this episode felt like a deep exhale. Because real change doesn't come from perfection. It comes from small wins, safety, and learning how to be on your own side. If this episode resonated, we have 2 quick asks. Share it with someone who needs hope, or someone who's stuck and beating themselves up. And follow the show and leave a rating or review, because it really helps more people find the Health Hunt. And if you want to connect with Debbie, we're going to put all of her links in the show notes. And wherever you're listening from, whether you're in a season of healing, change, or grief, we're just really glad you're here. We'll see you next time on The Health Hunt.